Because we're after a car and we bring attention.
I can't rush him, I haven't got the tackle. I was surprised I was managed to keep him out those. It's pretty early in the year, perhaps they're not quite fully fit yet. No, he's not ready. He's not ready. Yeah. I should have known by the bite. Everything else has been fitty and fussy, and this one just went away like a bloody express train. If I can keep his nose up. Nah. Here we go. Mind that pole, it may not be strong enough. Wow.
That's a good one, matey.
It's a nice fish, isn't it? Hi, well, welcome to my review of 2024. Yeah, that opening clip that you saw before you got to me here was my first trip of the year, in fact, and it was in April. And the reason it was in April is that the year, like last year, in fact, didn't start very well because I had a hip replacement in February, and the end of April was the first opportunity I had to get out. It was the first time I felt fit enough to get fishing. So started a bit late. What I propose to do here is first of all have a look at my YouTube summary, which you can see to the right. You will see that I've gained, was it 204 extra subscribers, which is great news. Thank you for everybody who subscribed and was subscribing before, obviously. Nearly 40,000 views, which is not bad, and quite a few likes as well. So thanks to everybody for watching and for liking and commenting and everything else. What I propose to do, I'm not going to show video clips of my sort of outings and my fish because it makes the video too long. So I'm going to walk through the year and with a voiceover commentary, and what you will see is a summary of each trip, and in some cases a collection of trips. You'll see a summary of the fish I caught, and there will be some still photographs showing some of the fish that I've caught. This makes the video a much more manageable length, so I hope you find that a better way of viewing my year. So that's about it. So ready to go, really. Just a matter of getting on to the next part of the video. So hope you enjoy it, and until we get to the end, when I'll say goodbye, let's get started. Let us begin the walkthrough of my year from that very first outing in April up until in fact my last outing in December. I started at Erith, as you saw in that first video clip, and I managed to catch a couple of bream, a smallish tench, a crucian, quite a nice crucian, and a really nice carp. So that was a really good start to the fishing year for me. The next trip out at Field's End was also pretty good. Things were really buzzing along. I'd been catching rudd throughout the session, up to about just under 3/4 of a pound, and I took a couple of carp around the 10-pound mark and a crucian of 2 pounds, so things were looking good. After that, I went back to Erith again and had 6 bream and a couple of tench, and then back to Field's End after that, by which time it was the 4th of June. and once more I caught roach and rudd throughout the session and some crucians. And then once more on the 12th of June I went back to Erith. On that occasion I had a bream and a crucian, and I lost a carp. Now the next date, obviously, after the 12th of June, was the beginning of the river season, and whereas up to now I'd been doing pretty well, that didn't start very well at all. I went to Offord and started off in the top cut, as they call it, hoping to get some perch, but it was a complete and utter blank. And after moving, I just caught a few small roach. So the beginning of my river season wasn't really great. By way of compensation, after that, I went to the clay pit, where there are sort of small scythe ponds, which have always been very kind to me. And sure enough, I caught a couple of tench there and a small rudd. The tench were, however, pretty lethargic. It was very hot conditions. So, having got my sort of confidence back at the clay pit, I once more went out to fish the rivers, and I went to the Offord mill stream. I was successful enough to catch a nice chub, so that was really the first chub of the river season. And I also lost one, so things were looking up a bit. I after that went to the chub stream at St Ives. It's now 18th of July, and I had a chub there as well. Again, just one chub, but in these small streams, you can't often hope for much more. So a couple of chub in the bag for the season. I then went back again to Offord and sort of lucked out on the mill stream and ended up fishing in the Weirpool, which I hadn't fished before, and I wasn't really tackled for it, but I had quite a bit of fun with some dace and roach, all small stuff, but it was sort of a happy ending to what was looking to be like not a very good day. After that I went back to Offord again, and on this occasion I fished the car park pool, and again it wasn't very productive. I had a couple of roach, and as if to rub it in, my next trip to Offord, just over a week later, I blanked. So the rivers were really being quite a challenge for me. So I went back to Erith. I thought, okay, let's go back to a lake. And it was now the 21st of August, and it wasn't the best of days I've had at Erith, but I did have a rather nice, impressive looking golden koi carp. So that was quite a nice end to what had been quite a quiet session, really. So once again, a bit more encouraged, having been back on the lake, I went back to the rivers, and I went back to Offord, and I lost a chub on my trip back to Offord on the mill stream. So once again, the rivers were challenging me. At this point, I tried something different. I bought a ticket for the middle level drains, which are local to me, but I'd never really fished them. And I went up to the middle level, and the first time there, which was now the 4th of September, I only caught small fish. I didn't do very well. I went back again about a week or so later, and again really didn't do that well. I'd hoped to catch tench, but that wasn't going to happen. But I did get a reasonable perch. So once again I sort of had a change of tack, and I went back to the clay pit, which had always been really kind to me, the little side ponds there. It was now October, 3rd of October, and I had 2 tench and a carp, and I lost 2 fish. So once again, that sort of restored my confidence a bit in catching fish. So back to the rivers. I went back to Offord on the 10th of October, and the water levels were really up, and in the end I ended fishing the Car Park pool, which was well up, and managed to get 1 bream out and a roach, but the conditions weren't very friendly at all. So once again, change of tack, I went back to Fields End Water, away from the rivers and back onto my local commercial. And once more I caught roach and rudd throughout the session and had a couple of nice carp around about the 10-pound mark. Let's go back to the rivers, see if I can crack the rivers. So I went back to the Chubb stream, now 30th of October, and blanked. So once again the rivers were really challenging me. After that I went to the mill stream, so I wasn't going to give up on the rivers. I went back to the Offord mill stream and I managed to catch 1 chub. I'd started off on the main river but given up there, and I moved over to the mill stream, and unlike on most occasions when I catch chub from the mill stream, it's a matter of getting a bite soon after I cast in. On this occasion I sat it out in 1 spot, and after a bit of a wait I managed to get a chub on board. So that was quite a challenge that day, but it ended up okay. Then to end this little walkthrough, I had a real red letter day on what I call the trout stream at Horton. I went there after chub, expecting perhaps 1 or 2 if I was lucky. But in fact, as I say, it was a real cracking day. I had 4 nice chub, the biggest of which was my personal best for that stream. Well, that's the end of my little walkthrough of 2024. The trout stream wasn't my last trip. In fact, I did have 1 more trip to the clay pit, but it was a freezing cold day, and I had a couple of tentative bites, but it was basically a blank. I did sort of hook a fish but pulled out, but it wasn't very big, so that was the clay pit. Then my last trip of the year was actually on the 17th of December, after the rivers had once more been really high. I went back to Offord and decided to fish the lock cutting. I had my eye on a spot up by the lock, by the road bridge, but unfortunately other people had the same idea. There were a couple of guys already there. So I did fish in the lock cutting, but basically towards the end of it, and I struggled, and I caught a few small perch and a few small roach. Yeah, so that was it really. Yeah, this year there were 24 outings compared with 23 last year, so I sort of stuck to the normal form. And yeah, there were some high points and there were some low points, which is what fishing is all about. I'm losing my words today. Yeah, so once again, thank you to all of you who watch the videos, and especially those who subscribe and follow me regularly. And thanks for the comments. They're great. It's great to sort of communicate with people and pick up tips. I've had sort of people suggest things to me which have been useful, and I hope some of the things I do might be useful to other people, although I'm a fairly basic angler, so I'm not too sure about that. Anyway, so that's it for 2024. Thanks again, and as usual, it's bye for now, and cheers, and let's look forward to 2025.